Good morning. Welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. Beautiful day. I think it's Wednesday. And the title of this talk is, Trump is a suicide bomber. How about that? The suicide bomber, is basically, he's somebody inside your midst that came in and he opens up his shirt. He's got a belt of bombs on there, and it's a Trojan horse. The Trojan horse basically is our go-to myth for the person we let into our fortress. It's kind of like COVID. COVID, you have a fortress to keep the COVID out, and a friend comes, oh, I've been tested, and they come in, and then they give everybody in the house COVID. In other words, this whole idea of letting somebody into your fortress that you think is a friend or you think is safe, and it destroys the egg from the inside. You see, a fortress is like an egg. It's designed to defend against external attacks. But the embryo breaks the egg from the inside. It would never break it from the outside, but it can break it with a little peck from the inside. So the fortress is always vulnerable from the inside. So the only way to break down the impregnable fortress is from the inside, you see. So that's why the Trojan horse is so valuable. The egg cannot be broken. See, here's the first peck, right? This is an ostrich egg. Isn't that beautiful? My friend of mine used to, or maybe it was a emu, I don't know. A friend of mine gave me this. But you see, the egg was broken from the inside. So Trump is, the suicide bomber is kind of like a Trojan horse because he's let into your meeting. He got through the defenses. He got through the barriers, got into the fences inside, you see, so he could blow it up from the inside. Maybe the suicide bomber is a little strong. But the idea here is that Trump is a Trojan horse. Maybe that's a better title. Trump is a Trojan horse, okay. The GOP let him in. I'm going to save you. I got a whole bunch of people for me. I can bring you votes. I can bring you passion. I can bring you the elections. I can bring you everything you want. Let me and my people in. So they did. And then this last week it blew up. So I got a cartoon I found. It was a cartoon, it'll be posted on my comments here, of a whole bunch of little people, their little landmines or bombs with a fuse, and Trump is the match. So I've been coming up with different images for Trump blowing up the Capitol, which is what he did. In other words, he incited a mob to go and attack or blow up the Capitol, you see. The Trojan horse is that as president, think about this, as president, Trump is the head of the government. He is the head of the American people. He is the government, the executive branch, the most powerful branch, the one. You see, Trump is the one. He embodies the whole government in himself. That's why we have a president. It's kind of like an elected king. So he's king for 4 years. But we has checks, like the English king. We just put it all together in one system. England has a king and a parliament. We put the king and the parliament together and created a president, and the Congress is the parliament. But it's all one government, and they check each other. So we just put it all together in one package. Created a new idea, you see, since we didn't want to have a new king. But anyway, so we let Trump into this package of checks and balances. Oh, he's okay. Got some people. Brings benefits. Let him in. We'll get our stuff done. We can control him, you see. But he lit a match on the time bomb that is the GOP. See, the GOP, let's jump around. I hope, hang in with me. Okay. Let's look at a nuclear reactor. Okay. Now, a nuclear reactor is a controlled explosion. In other words, you contain the contradiction in such a way that the contradiction generates energy, potential energy that can be used to turn on your lights. But if the checks fail, the reactor cannot be contained, and it goes like a mic in an amplifier. So Trump is like that mic in an amplifier. A nuclear reactor that generates a lot of power. Oh yeah, look at all of our votes. You see, look at the passion. You know, he generates the power, but it's not contained. So when he told his passionate followers to storm the Capitol, like the peasants stormed the Bastille in the French Revolution, or Castro stormed Batista, or the Bolsheviks stormed the Tsar, or the Nazi Party stormed the constitutional government of Germany, or all these examples in history, you see, unleashed hell, unleashed power that could not be contained. So Trump was like a nuclear reactor, and the Republican Party was like a nuclear reactor that contained the contradiction. And they could generate votes, and they generated themselves. This energy generator, the Republican Party, generates energy. And they invited Trump in. So, what is this contradiction that was the nuclear reactor of the Republican Party that Trump blew up? And is blowing up right now. I mean, right now, as I talk, they're voting to impeach him, and they're building momentum in the Senate to trial and confirm the impeachment. So either way, Trump is going to be kicked out. I think Mitch McConnell wants him out of the Republican Party. Because if he stays in the Republican Party for the next 4 years, he's going to be attacking the Republican Party and dividing it. So anyway, but the point is, we're at a point in history where we can see how Trump blew up the Republican Party and unleashed hell. The nuclear reactor went berserk. The Republican Party lost control of Trump. Now, what is the contradiction? The contradiction that was the nuclear reactor of the Republican Party for the last 50 years. It shaped America. The contradiction, and this is, all the books are coming out now, and they're all talking about it. They're talking about Reagan and Nixon and the Republican Party and what the hell has happened to America and what's changing and all of this stuff. So I work with this all the time, trying to figure it out, sharing it with you. So the basic contradiction of the Republican Party, and it's with my local friends here in Blackstone, they'll say, Well, I'm a conservative, principle conservative. I'm for small government, no regulations, and no taxes. Now, let Trump, I don't go with all that crap. I'm for small government, no taxes, no regulations. That's a principle conservative. Okay, don't agree with Trump. So what do you really agree with then? So let's look at what that contradiction is. The contradiction is that the Republican Party has positioned itself, since Nixon, as being against government. We're going to reduce government, shrink it, take away its taxes. Government should be very, very, very small, just a little thing. You see? Least is best, you see. Take away all these laws and regulations, bureaucracies, all that, you see. Liberate the business. Free the individual. The true man, the true American, is the one who's free from regulations, like the Western hero. This is the American dream. Go west, young man, and you'll be free from civilization and all that moral, all that stuff. Be a cowboy. Be an explorer. Be free on the range. The cowboy. No fences, no boundaries, no laws, no rules, no churches and schools and all that stuff. Free range. Just the boys with a campfire. Your horse. Free at last, you see. But civilization comes, you see. Government comes. The marshal comes. The regulation comes. So this whole idea of being free from the government is a myth. Government is order. You can't be free from government. Even the family has government. Family, somebody's in charge. It's not just a rabble. Somebody's top dog. Somebody's control. Somebody sets the rules, either consciously or unconsciously. Has to be rules and the game. You can't play tennis if there isn't rules and regulations. You can't just, in other words. So the idea, the contradiction of the GOP was that we want to be free from government, like the cowboy, the Western hero, who comes in on a horse, you see. So we want to be free from government, remove government. But at the same time, we want to govern. We want to be government. We want to be the government. So when we get to be the government, how can I be against the government and be the government at the same time? How can I be for freedom from government and be for more government? So the trap of the GOP was that when they got to be ruling, when they got to be the government, all they could do was kill the government. Start deregulation, remove taxes, no matter what, no taxes, reduce them down to nothing, which starves the government, and take away all the government rules, deregulate the administration state, deregulate make it a powerless, impotent, so it can't do anything. It can't do anything. Yet there's the contradiction. The government is dysfunctional. It doesn't do anything. Well, who's the fault? Well, the Democrats are at fault. It's the liberals. It's the liberal government, you see, that is the reason the Republican government is dysfunctional. And that's the win-win. You get to keep your cake and eat it too. You get to be against the government and become the government, but you can't do anything because the government is evil, and the reason nothing gets done and everyone suffers is because the Democrats did it. It's perfect. So you invite Trump in because it's getting a little stale to juice things up, you see. Get some energy in there. It's like a tent revival. It's like the revival, the Holy Spirit, the holy revival. Boy, I'm talking a long time. I got to quit. It's like the revival, evangelical revival comes to juice everybody up, get them pumped up again for Jesus, and then he leaves. Well, Trump didn't leave. So he stood there at his rally, his tent rally, and lit a match And as President of the United States, he sent his troops to attack the United States. The nuclear reactor blew up. It was no longer contained. The myth, the denial, the dream was exploded. There it is. There it is, insanity. It's insane when you are against when you blow yourself up and deny it. It's insane when your job is to protect the Constitution, when you destroy the Constitution and deny you're doing it. Anyway, so there's your Trojan horse. Thanks for dropping in.